Good evening, everybody. It is Tammy coming to you live from my office this afternoon. I know I was supposed to be live at 10 a.m., but I did not make it at 10 a.m. And there's a reason for that. Whoever was supposed to hear this message was not going to be able to be there, nor was the person delivering it because I came in this morning and everything just kind of went crazy haywire, crazy busy. Someone just sent um, a funny message. It was hilarious. I was like, "Oh, this is Tammy." Like they said, like you should get Tammy to do this. I'm like, "It's Tammy." I love when that stuff happens. I am going to ask you to do me a favor, and as you jump on here today, because I am live in a lot of places, right? I'm going to ask that you say hello and tell me where you're watching from, and drop us a grateful fan in the comments. It has been a crazy hectic day, like I said, and this morning, um, I was hello. I was getting ready this morning, and as I was sitting there getting ready this morning, I was just doing my morning normal routine, right? I was putting on my earrings, which I say, your ears are connected to your throat. You get as two ears to listen and one mouth to speak. And I remind myself every day because I speak a lot. Um, that remember that you should listen today twice as much as you speak. So if that tells you anything about how much I listen to and how much I hear, I try to always remain cognizant to listen twice as much as I speak. Um, so I was putting my earrings in for that reason, and I always put those in to protect my mouth and my ears. I'm like, I should only hear the things that are to my highest and best, and the words that I come out of my mouth should only be to the highest and best of those hearing it, and to me, and to those around me. Um, and then I put my bracelets on just as kind of a ritual or a pattern or routine, just for those things. And this one is the stones on this are has Metatron stuff on it. So this is about wisdom. I always say, give me the knowledge to be the best version of myself. Allow me to have abundance in all things, right? And to give abundance abundantly. And then this one's just a bunch of different chakra stones with heart stones. And I always say to make sure I put this on first, right? That I wanted to lead with love. So lead with love, give and hopefully receive abundance and to do things from a place of knowledge and not because I believe knowledge is power. And as I was sitting there this morning doing all those things, and then I always put this ring on. This one stays on as my wedding ring, but this one is my mom's ring that after she passed away, I have not taken it off my hand really very much. And I always ask for my ancestors, my angels, guides, and my helpers, all of those people who have been assigned to help me through this human existence to kind of be with me and my path for the day. And for those of you who are watching, this is what I tell people: I don't boo anybody's beautiful, I don't yuck anybody's yum. I have a belief system. You have a belief system. I believe that most human people want the same things, right? That they want to have, to be kind, to take care of their families. So we don't get into politics. We don't get into religions. We don't get into any of those things here. I do speak and I do use language, and I want everyone to be able to hear me, right? So if the words you use for this, as you hear God speaking to you, or you hear whoever that Allah, Buddha, whatever the thing may be, I say it's, I hear the universe speaking, or my angels, my guides, and my helpers. They say that praying is talking to, God, and meditation is listening. And so this morning, as I do my affirmations, I'm kind of saying my things, but then I'm also finding some moments to take some deep breaths and to listen to any kind of whispers about what I should be doing. And like, God will tell you the way, right? The universe, source, like I said, whatever your words are, right? And I'm on a lot of different platforms today. There's people who are in the Hometown Hippie who understand my belief system in full. If you want to know more about that, talk to me, right? Just have a conversation with me about it. Hello from Farmville at this time. At this time, yeah. Why are you in Farmville at this time? We would love to have you tomorrow. Sarah's got something to do tomorrow, but we could love to have her as a cater waiter tomorrow. Anybody out there needs a little extra money tomorrow, let me know. Um, but I'm live on a lot of platforms, and some people know my woo woo. Oh no, are you okay? Are you okay? Is everybody okay? Urgent care, I'm guessing no, but is everybody going to be okay? Because I'm live in a lot of places, I want to make sure that I just don't want to offend, right? I don't want anybody to feel put out or put off by what I'm going to say. Okay. And that's probably why when this message came in this morning, when God was speaking to me, angels, whatever you want to say, whoever it was, like was saying, this is what the message you need to deliver today. This is what someone needs to hear. I probably, oh, that's no good. Hi, Miss Ellis. Hi. Thank y'all so much. We got Liz watching from Crew, Virginia. We have Norma Jean from Abilene who ate some pork chops. And everybody said they were really good. Hope you're enjoying those. We have Sarah, unfortunately, from Urgent Care. We have Miss Ellis who's watching us from Farmville as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Don't leave me. Stay right here. I got to go cut some stuff off in there in a second. I'm here because I'm waiting for something to finish cooking. But this morning, I was kind of trying to silence my brain because we have a lot of events coming up. We have a couple things tomorrow, and then next week it's just boom, 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 boom. And hey, William, I was very anxious this morning, and I was having a moment, and I started getting the whispers in about this message I needed to deliver. Like, you need to go and talk about this. Someone needs to hear this, and the way that you're going to speak about it, they're going to hear you. And I decided to argue with God, with Source, with universe, whatever. And I was like, I just don't need that added to my plate. I just don't have the capacity for that. I'm struggling right now because I have people who still haven't gotten their expensive advent calendars recreated and mailed out. I have this happening. I have this happening. I have that happening, right? And, we talk about this all the time. It says Tammy plans or man plans, people plan, and God laughs, right? God's like, I don't care that you have things on your plate. That's not how this situation gets to work, right? We get to tell you, God's like, I kind of get to control this. Like, this is not really the thing that you get to talk about. And please don't leave me. We're got 9 people watching. This is a very important message. I just have to go cut that off because I don't want to burn $30, $30,000. Really, there's 2 ovens full of cinnamon rolls for tomorrow. Give me a second. All right. All 4 pans of cinnamon rolls are out of the oven, and I don't have to worry about that. So thank you all for being here. She said, the universe telling me to slow down and take care of. Yes. So this morning when I was sitting there going, I don't have the capacity. Thank you for allowing me to be the messenger for this, but I don't want to be the messenger for this. And the universe said, God, whatever you want to call it, said, it doesn't matter. And then I came in this morning, things went haywire, and I was like, I'm off the hook. Like, the universe never lies. Like, I didn't purposely not go live at 10, but things were happening and I was not able to. So throughout the day today, things have come up that have just solidified that it's like, either deliver this message or we're going to make you live it. And so I said, message received. Now I'm going to deliver the message. So, hello, Patty Wagner. Hello. As many of you know, part of what makes the Grateful Fed, the Hometown Hippie, Sugar Magnolia, a different type of entity than maybe other entities around, especially in Farmville specifically, is that my chefs, right now, it used to be everybody, but we've grown so exponentially that myself, my head pastry chef, and my head chef are all Reiki attuned healers, which means that we literally pray the good juju into everything that we make. So when I am thinking of menus, I am looking at menus, and I literally, when y'all ask me for like, what's on your menu, what is this, what is that, and I tell you like, I don't know yet. I legitimately stop and I ask, I'm like, what is to the highest and best of my community? What are the things we should be feeding people and why? And that's what I do. Like I spend so much time on menu planning and like recipe thought process about what is, and sometimes I don't even tell everybody in there why. They're like, what? We have a lot on the menu. Like, there's a reason for it. Just go with it. Um, but the light healing or the Reiki attunement and the healing through food is what this mission for me has always been about. And I really believe that we were going to have like maybe 10 to 20 to maybe 30 families that we worked with individually for all of their like healing food needs. Like we planned on making like food boxes for them to get through their, like to do their groceries for them, to be concierge, right? So I tell people all the time that I am your people who ask about plant-based medicine. I work with them on plans on like what works for them, what doesn't work for them, explaining to them that certain things can't cure them. Like there's nothing, like if you go to your doctor and they tell you have cancer, and then people tell you like, don't go through chemo and radiation, but use this plant-based medicine or use this. I'm like, that's not how that works. Like it's not a cure-all, but some of the medications we can help you utilize that are organic and holistic, that don't have the side effects of big pharma. There are more things that have been brought in from like the world that Indians use, Native Americans, or or healers throughout time, shamans, things like that. Things that I believe God put on the planet as natural medicine, oreganos and cayenne peppers and uh, castor oils and all of it, cannabis, all of it, all of these different things can create medicines, just like cinnamon and vanilla and paprika and garlic and black pepper. They all have healing properties and all these things that go along with them. So some of these things, when I'm creating a recipe, it's like, I need to give extra healing in. Let me put this in there for that reason. And that's how we build recipes. But it has always been about community and connection and teaching people about food being fuel and having a different relationship with it. And to me, it's about, it's just, food is love to me, and that is my love language, and it is what we're trying to do for the world. But I also lose track sometimes of just the one-on-one connections that food is the bridge, right? Food is the bridge. So what I mean about that is that, yes, not, we might not like the same food, but if we not like the same things, but I truly believe if we sit down at the same table and we break bread, we can find more things that we have in common than we have differences. And that's how that was my master plan, my master plan, how we heal the world through food. Like my goal as a light healer was, how do I impact the right amount of people, the right people in the right way? And I maybe at the beginning was the most amount of people in the most way. Is that, how do we do that from that point of view? And as we've gone through this year of this amazing growth that we've had, I realized that it's literally not as much of the, I say I heal through food, and yes, the food is delicious, it brings people together. But what that does is it brings the right people in front of us, our community, our family, the Grateful Fed family, maybe sometimes to me directly. Because if you're watching this today, a lot of you, you were brought here for other reasons. Some of you know me forever, but some people, it's like, oh man, I am very glad that I got to know you, because now there's these weird connections and these things that have happened. So over the last 8 months to a year, I have been brought into contact with a lot of people that are my age and older, who have children who are my stepson's age and younger, or even people who are older than me and have, kids, adult children and grandchildren that they have no contact with. That they are, their family is, that they have something going on. I don't know. In most instances, I never, ever, never ask the question, what happened? What did they, why not? Like I never asked that question. But people tend to start telling me the story of this time of year specifically, the story surrounding their heartache around not seeing their grandchildren or their adult children or their children or a sister sometimes. Maybe it's not always children. It's family members or people who matter to them. But the last 6 months to a year, probably closer to the last 6 months, the amount of people, and some of you may be watching, some of you may not, who have come and who utilize our services. Some people eat with us because they're lonely. And they don't have. We like to talk to people. We love people. And they are just so forlorn and so lonely and so sad because they don't have this connection with people. And this past week, I've had an opportunity, the way that the universes work, for me just to I have time today. And I've listened and heard, and I want to say this because this is why I didn't want to deliver this message. It's a very hard message to deliver, but it came through as crystal clear as anything. And if you are of my age or older, or even younger, okay, I want you to hear me, okay? The lady that came in this week, I wanted, I listened to her story, listened to a couple different stories. I've listened to a lot of stories. And I never asked the core reason, but I want to say this. Two things can be true. And see how this universe is just, two things can be true. And I gave this person this information earlier this week, someone, and it made a difference for them. Versus defending themselves and defending why they didn't have a reason to apologize, or they didn't do anything to cause this. They don't understand. They heard for the first time versus having that conversation with me, right? And I'm going to give a hard truth right now. This is what came in. It was a channeled message from God, from source, from universe, from whatever the words you want to use. And I'm asking to be a clear and perfect channel for the message that I'm going to give, because this is not for me. This is not for me. This is the message that I have to give. Okay. No one stops talking and just doesn't like you and cuts you off and, cuts a family member off without their own reason. And if they have a reason, you have to, even if you can't see that reason from your perspective, you have to understand that if you didn't, I didn't make you feel that way. Like the situation that I'm talking about is when the adult child we're going to use it a child situation for this circumstance. Okay. This is how the message came in today. And I believe this is the message that this is intended for is probably some parent who has a no contact relationship with a child. And the message that came into me today was, and I'm going to just be as clear with this as I can versus trying to tiptoe around it. And you're like, Tammy, what the hell does this have to do with the price of tea in China or your restaurant or your food truck or your catering business or your hometown hippie? It has to do with the fact this is about healing people, and it's about doing the community work and leaning in. And this is what it's about for us. Like I said, we're different because we are Reiki healers, and there's a lot of woo-woo that goes along with this. But trust me, okay? I don't do anything crazy. The message I got was that no child goes no contact for no reason. And whether you agree with their reason or not, you have to at least love them from where they are. Sometimes you have to love them from the balcony, and two things can be true, right? The situation that the child from a 5-year, this is what came from a 5-year-old perspective, that was traumatic. From your 30-year-old perspective, you were just doing the best you could do with what you had. And two things can be true. In the moment of something terrible happening that a child realizes is something they don't like, there are things that happen to kids that I hear about, even from the kid side of it, that are no contact with their parents. Because I'm not just talking about this from a parental side. I have a lot of people that I work with as well who are people who've gone no contact with their families. And they tell me because their parents, they didn't agree with the way that some things were done in their lifetime. And this is what I'm going to tell you. This is where the message came from. And all they have asked their parent to do is respect their boundaries on how they're going to raise their children and the way that they're going to handle things. And the parent is like, I'm the grandparent. I did the best I can do. I didn't kill you. I'm not going to kill your child. So the message that I got came in is that two things can be true. What you did growing up for your child is exactly what you needed to do for your child, exactly how it's supposed to happen. You did the best that you can do. You're never going to see it from a parent's eyes through a child's eyes. It does not mean that the two perspectives are any different. It does not mean that the two perspectives are definitely different, but it does not mean that they are either one or wrong. And when you are trying to argue that you are more right than the other person, you are just causing that distance to be further. And that so many of the message I got was, so many of your conflicts are because you are so determined to be more right than the other person, versus just knowing, like, I know in my heart of hearts, I did my best. And if that was not, I did the best that I could do with what I had at that moment. That does not mean that you were not traumatized and you did not suffer from it. And I'm sorry, because I'm sure any parent, tell me yes or no, amen or not, I've blamed my mom for a million things before that she didn't believe were her fault. And then her response to me was like, I never meant to do it. I never did that with malice in my heart to hurt you. Right? I never did that with malice in my heart to hurt you. I don't know what I did wrong, but if it hurt you, I'm sorry. And that went a long way with me. Like, even though she doesn't understand 100%, so don't grip on to the needing. If they say that they're sorry, understand that. But from two things can be true. Two things can be true. I would never understood my mom and why she did the things she did. And I want to tell you all this story from a very personal place. After my mom passed away, and I talk about my mom a lot on my channel, on all of my platforms, and I tell y'all that she was my hero. I loved her more than life itself, and I would not trade her for anybody in the world. My mom left us whenever I was a kid twice. My mom, had mental health issues. My mom said things that made me have body issue images, all of those things. And I had to deal with, and I was pissed off at her when she died because I didn't feel like she had to. Had she not stopped smoking cigarettes and started eating better and taking care of her health, she would not have smoked or ate. I said, you smoked and you ate yourself to death. And there was a part of me that was so sad, but a part of me, two things can be true. I'm like, I feel so guilty for being mad at you for all these things. But I had to come to terms with two things can be true. You can be pissed off at somebody and love them to pieces. You can be no contact with somebody and love them to pieces. I love you. I just can't love you from your kitchen table. I have to love you from the balcony, right? And what that means is that the world is waking up, and everybody is becoming more aware of their boundaries. People are learning. Women are coming. A lot of women, specifically with mother and daughter issues. A lot of father-daughter issues as well. Fathers not being there for their daughters. Daughters not understanding why. Sons not understanding why. There's a lot of that going on in families, and it's very amplified during this season. And this message came in this morning specifically for parents to say, look, if your adult child has no contact with you, it is not for nothing. It is not for nothing, and it is not, and maybe you need to work on you for a little while. Right? And I'm going to tell you, laying in it and wallowing in it and being sad, oh, that's just, my life is over. No, when my kids don't love me. Why don't your kids love you? Write it out in a journal. Reflect on it. And that's the message. Like, reflect on it. Understand that two things can be true. There are 2 million pieces of broken glass on a disco ball. They're all glued to this circular orb, right? It makes this beautiful thing of light reflecting all over the world. But no two pieces of that disco ball sees things or reflects things the same way. Even if they're this close together, they still have their own little minute, little micro differences that makes them see things just a little bit differently. Now think about the piece of glass on the front of that ball and the piece of glass on the back of that ball. They're still in the same sphere, the same atmosphere, the same family, but one of them's looking at that wall and one of them's looking at this one. Neither one of them are telling a lie. They're telling it from their point of view. And the argument comes in when this person's like, nope, what I'm seeing is right. And this person says, nope, what I'm seeing is right and you're wrong. No, two things can be true. And during this holiday season, I'm going to encourage you to gift yourself the ability to understand that and to know Now, I'm going to say this. If you can't be contact with your parent, don't be. I'm not telling you to let down your boundary, to allow them to indoctrinate your children, any of those things. But I'm asking you to understand that two things can be true. And that if you don't want to have contact with your parent, that is on you. You do you, boo. But if you're a parent that's out there and you're having this situation and you want to have contact with your adult child, I'm going to encourage you to listen to what they have to say. Stop feeling like the victim. Stop feeling like you're the most horrible person in the world, right? That is the story you're telling yourself. I promise you, that is the story you are telling yourself. I want you to take a breath. And remember, two things can be true. I'm very, very, very sorry if you are so worried about being able to have contact with your adult child and your grandchildren, I am going to guess, or the family member, because people that come to me are very like, I want to be in their life. I feel like I'm just devastated that I can't be. I'm going to ask you to do this. If you want to be in their life, understand that two things can be true. Stop playing the victim, start being the victor, and start seeing the way through it. Maybe they can't be with you this holiday season, but you can take the steps, right? You can take the steps to figure out what you can do to heal to be able to get back to where you can eat at the same table. There's the path back is not that hard. It's honestly, and I've had some situations where I know the child and I know the parent and I've heard both sides of the story, and it's honestly just neither one of them wanting to understand that two things can be true. And like Heather said, even if you did wrong, right? Even if you did wrong, you can do better. I'm going to say this. If you did wrong and you did wrong to a place where they can't be back in your life again, if there's some type of big abuse issue, something like that, where you just like, no, and I get that, right? I'm going to encourage you to forgive them, not for them. And you never have to be around them. I'm not saying to ever release a boundary and to put yourself or your child in a harm's position. Not ever, for anybody, nobody, right? But the forgiveness can be done. You can forgive, and like I said, I forgive you. Don't mean I don't want you to not eat. You just can't eat at my table, right? You can forgive them, and that forgiveness is 1,000% a selfish thing, because that is for you. Because that hate and that anger and that holding on to resentment is such a low vibrating thing that it's going to pull you down. And I tell people this all of the time. If you're a parent specifically, you are the rule book for your kids. If you're a man and you have children and you're not being nice to their parent or their mother, you're teaching your sons that they can talk any kind of way to a woman, and you're teaching your daughters that they can be talked to any kind of way by a man. If you are a woman and you're in that situation, and the same thing, if you're talking shit to your husband, you're teaching your son that women will belittle men. He will not like them. Teaching your daughter how to belittle a man and not to respect their father, right? You're teaching those things. So even if this season, and I know these messages are hard, but when the universe is like, you have to go say these things, somebody needs to hear this tonight. It's going to make a difference this holiday season. It might not make a difference for any adult person hearing me, but if you hear what I'm saying and you can make some changes, you might not put that same trauma on your kid. You know what I mean? So I'm going to encourage you to remember, people are watching. If you have children, you have people that are learning how to be people by watching you. They don't learn by what you say. They learn by what you do and the way that you speak, the way that you behave, right? And I want you to think about that as you walk through the world, right? And then adult people, I want you to think about that if you are no contact with your parent. And I want you to think about what it is in your parent that you're so mad about. Like, I want you to try to resolve it, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a resolution to this, but it takes both parties understanding that two things can be true. And that progress is better than perfection. I'm never saying to you to lower your boundaries or to do any of those things, but I am saying that you have to be willing to not be the only right person in the room sometimes to resolve a situation. And the two things can be true message came through big today in regards to that. And it is about this. You were doing the best you could do with what you had right then, but it still could have been enough to get you could have got, they had a roof over their head, they had clothes on their back, but maybe they didn't have this, or they didn't have that, or they overheard this, or they saw that, or whatever. Or maybe you were in a situation where you were in active addiction. But here's the thing, two things can be true. You can agree, you understand that, right? And it's not that you meant to do it. And a lot of people are like, well, they're going to make me relive it my whole life. They have been living it their whole life. Don't be mad at them for that. You're right. And I hear that, and we're going to move forward and all the things. And maybe here's the honest to goodness truth. You have some boundaries to set with them. Because at the same token, I've seen there's one situation that I'm dealing with right now where, and I'm not calling any names or any of that. I'm just telling a situation where the child won't let the parent live down. And I told the parent, I'm like, well, tell them, like, I have done the best that I can do. If this is how this is, then we don't need to be around each other. You can't be in my atmosphere if I make you this upset. If, they're out of addiction, like, it's hard to, like, just be convicted of it all the time. Like, I get that. Then maybe you need to cut the energy. Like, I can only take you in small doses. Like, I love you, but I'm not going to hear this for the rest of my life, because you have a boundary as well. Again, I did not mean, I hated to have to come give this message tonight, but one of the things that I'm learning with all of my businesses is the more that I try not to be my authentic self, the more that I try to fit myself into the box, two things can be true, the more I don't fit. So I love you all for showing up tonight and hearing my little TED Talk, my little Tammy Talk. If you're out there suffering this holiday season, find a community, find somewhere to lean in. I'm sure there's a lot of people, if you don't have grandkids to spoil, I bet you there's a lot of people here that'll throw something your way to let you help. But if you are struggling this holiday season with being alone, or needing an ear, or needing a community to lean into, we're here. We're gonna. There's a lot of things happening in the new year. With my organization, with our organization, here with the Grateful Fed Catering and Family. I am in active process of making some corporate changes, some structural changes, some menu, like big, like, here's how we're doing things now. Like, new websites are dropping. Like, all the websites are going to be going down offline in 2 weeks. So before New Year's, you're going to lose. You need to get all everything you want in. We are closing on the 22nd, a little early. We're going to have our holiday party here on the 22nd, and then we have some things on the books. Like, you can pre-order some things, but we're not taking any active orders. So we have some, like, cakes and stuff to deliver. People already ordered, but we are taking a pause, taking a timeout. I'm doing a lot of, the store is going to look a lot different, remodeling, and it's going to be a little shrinking to grow. So a little shrinking to grow. So there'll be some changes coming on the pike. And I was very stressed over, like, you got me, like, I told God, I'm like, I said, God, I was like, you have me making these big structural changes I'm very nervous about. And I'm actually reaching out for, like, outside help and, like, business help, like, like business people help. And I said, now you've got me delivering these messages on my, like, Grateful Fed pages with, like, all the people. And God said to me, I didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. You didn't get off the hook. You need to tell these people the truth. They need to understand that it is about the power of one. And this is something we share in Hometown Hippie that I need to make sure we share here. And about two things can be true, right? The power of one is the motto that you as a human being, I can't go out and bewitch and wiggle my nose or wave a magic wand and fix all of the problems in the world. And my big, giant empath heart could sit right here with every single person right now and just bawl. I could just sit here right now and just cry like a baby, because I feel every piece of pain and every piece of exhaustion and every piece of everything that everybody feels. And as lately, it's been very hard for me to protect myself from that energy, right? Hi, Mary Ellen. But God said, right, I didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. And you have to remember the power of one. And every day, you can't go out and change the world as one human being. But every day, you have the power as one human being to go out and change the world for one other person. You can change the world of one other person completely with a smile, with a gesture, with a phone call, with a text. How many of you, yes or no, amens, kiss my ass, Tammy's, whatever, have woken up to like a good morning text or a how you doing text, I'm thinking about you text, and it changed your entire day? It raised your vibration. Like somebody is thinking about me. That just feels good. Um, that is what the affirmations on the boxes are. Like I handwrite those. I wrote all the ones that got written today. I think unless Zach and Kyle did some, that's something that you're going to start seeing in the new. It's a no if. We get handwritten affirmations to every person that eats with us. That's what we do. We get big, we get busy, we forget the little things. Those are the things that I, as the owner, have to say, nope. Now, how do we make sure, what's the process to make sure that doesn't get missed? During our time off, so you all know, we talk about the big changes. We've got an entire class of Reiki 1 healers going through. Zach, Kyle, Liz, Leslie, Amy, probably going to put Tabby through it too, if she wants to. Maybe Haley, not yet. Haley and Tabby will probably be next class. 5 of our employees, so we're going to add 5 additional light workers to the group. So the amount of like growth we're going to see with that is going to be ridiculous. So that's why when I was like, do I do this everywhere, even on my catering pages, even on my other pages everywhere else, right? God said to me, it's the power of one. The person that needs to hear this message is not in your hometown hippie group, right? The person who needs to hear this message, the person that needs this message, the person that needs this this community might not be there. You need to remember that you have to be able to spread the, you have to touch people. But each and every one of you that are listening to me, if you touch one person, there's 10 of you watching, that's 11 of us, right? If we doubled our numbers, we each helped one person today. That's 22 people, right? I need a calculator. It's going to get big. So if we each go out and double our numbers, 22. Now, if we each do that again, 22 people times 2, right? We've each touched a person. That's 44 times 2, 88 times 2. Every day we double our numbers, 76 times 2, and then 352 times 2, right? That goes up to, it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And just like losing weight, you do it 1 to 2 pounds a week is how you kind of make sure it sticks. I believe in the power of one being the way that the kindness sticks. It's not about just randomly, like, just here's some kindness. It's about touching another person's soul every day. Every day you have the ability. You come in contact with hundreds of people in a day. But for one person, take the time, whether it's a good morning text, opening a door, noticing somebody's energy and saying, hey, do you need a friend today? Right? And that's what this community is about. And whether this message is to you or not, that message definitely is. So on that note, I'm going to go home tonight. I told Red I'd be off early, and at 6:30, I'm getting out of here. It's going to be a 10-minute message, but here we are. I love each and every one of you. If you're local, we will be at Clayton Homes of Farmville tomorrow with a very special holiday menu. It's posted on the Grateful Fed page. If every single one of you could do me a favor, if you could please go like the Grateful Fed page, go like us on YouTube, go like all of our pages, go add a friend, invite them to the page, share the page out. The more every day, the power of one. If we double those numbers, there's 1,400 people on the catering page. If we double those numbers every day, we'd be able to touch more people, and I could use your help doing that. I'll let you know. I'll tell 2 people. They'll all, exactly, right? The numbers just keep doubling and keep doubling and keep doubling, and every day we have the ability to do that. And if every day we go out and do that, just think about the beauty of how that looks. You start changing the world, one person, one community, one main street, one town, one state, one city, one country at a time. I love y'all. I hope that each and every one of you will help me in my mission of the power of one, right? That you will help me with the power of one mission. I'm going to get off here tonight and go home. Thank you all for your support. Thank you all who come out and eat with us or tell people about us. Keep it up, please. We got gift certificates for the holidays. We've got certificates for the family meals, for the food truck, for cakes, whatever you need. We have catering still available for holiday parties during the day, for luncheons, things like that. Bulk food pickup, whatever you need. Holiday party platters, we've got those up and running. We love you. We appreciate you. And we are going to end tonight's live, as we always do, with a little peace, a little love, and a little feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. I love you. Until next time, I'm Tammy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.